Well, good evening everyone. Hello and welcome. It's start again. It's a cool Friday evening where I am in my corner of Essex, UK. It's good to see you all out there. A slightly impromptu live stream. In fact, let me fiddle with a setting for a moment. And as usual, check everything is working as it should. Lovely. There we go, wonderful. So, if you haven't looked at the title of the stream, it's a Marco Pierre white chocolate tart. I'm going to be doing the Marco Pierre white chocolate tart from this book, Essentially Marco. There goes the receipt. Signed by the man himself. The chocolate tart recipe is here. He's actually done it in loads of his books. Pop that on so you can see it. Picture of it. He's done this in loads of his books. In fact, I commented when I did a video reviewing all of his books how he'd reused some of the chocolate tart photography. He just flipped it, or his publisher did, which I thought was quite funny. That he was just recycling some assets. But there you go, that's fine, it is what it is. So, the chocolate tart is actually quite simple. I have made it once before, about February time. Going to see some friends tomorrow, so thought I would make this for them. Turn that off again for a sec. It's a really rich, decadent chocolate tart. Being Marco Pierre white, of course, it's rich and decadent. And it's really easy as well. Again, for his recipes, really, really easy. Almost too easy. I have made one change to his recipe. Yes, I dared to. Rani Talmor, good evening. Nice to have you with us. Welcome in, welcome in. What are you eating this evening or today? I've made one change in that he calls for, Marco in this recipe, a 70% cocoa dark chocolate. I actually thought that pure dark chocolate was too strong. So I thought about doing a blend of dark and milk chocolate. I forget what you call that in the US, sweet and semi-sweet or something. So I instead am using this product here, not sponsored I should add, Cadbury's Dark Milk, which is exactly what it says. It's a blend of dark and milk chocolate, and I think it's going to be perfect for this chocolate tart. Let's pick that off the floor. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. It's really, really straightforward. The first stage is to make a pastry case, but I've already made, let me correct myself. I've got one over there. I've already bought a pastry case. I couldn't be bothered today. Had a lot going on. So as I bring that closer. So there's a pastry case ready to be used with the filling. The filling is simply eggs, milk, cream and chocolate all brought together. Simple as that. It's just all blended together in a gentle heat. So I think first I'm going to get my milk and cream on to a simmer, and once that's done I can start melting my chocolate and then incorporate the eggs into it as well. Checking that I've got all the bowls ready that I need. Typical, I just start. I'm going to get one more big bowl, I think. I'm just going to start. Lost my train of thought completely. Lost my train of thought. Evangelist 3289, 3,289th of your clan. Title says Marco Pierre white. I shout to see the hell that will surely involve. I was just saying, Evangelist. Good evening, by the way. It's actually quite a simple recipe as Marco Pierre white goes. So yeah, I'm not doing pig trotters today, which I've done before. I'm not making all kinds of wacky things. So let's get on with the milk and cream. I need to bring those up to a simmer. So I haven't poured them out yet. So I'm just going to measure out some milk and cream. Again, if you missed it, it's from his Essentially Marco book, but you can find it in Canteen Cuisine and I think Marco's Great British Feast or possibly Hell's Kitchen. He does this recipe all the time. And talking to some of his ex-chefs, they said, yeah, he puts it on the menu at every restaurant because it's just flies out the door. Easy to make, easy to do ahead of time, flies out the door. CJ Motors #1. Hello, how are you today? Right, 350ml double cream, heavy cream for my American cousins. There we go, 354. And 150ml of milk to top it up. So if you weren't paying attention, that's 500ml of stuff, of liquid. Not a lot, as you can see, not a lot of fluid. And we're just going to bring that to a simmer. Evangelist says, you've shocked me with this revelation. P.S. Love the pig trotter video, always want to try it. I don't know if you watch it to the end, I say don't bother. It's not really worth it, I don't think. I'm sure most people that would watch this channel will probably also watch Fallow, those excellent British lads who run a restaurant in London, and they did the pig trotters for Pierre Kaufman. They also did it again this week, a video with Alexander the Guest, the guy who visits all the restaurants. Really good video. In fact, every video Fallow does is excellent. And they do the pig trotters again, well worth a watch. They rate it much higher than I do. I think it's a chef's dish. It's my true feeling. And I think you get just as good results with pork belly, which is obviously dead easy to cook. Right, this is a brand new induction hob, which I've used precisely once before. So I've got to press a few buttons and remember how it works. So give me a second. There we go, I think that's going to work. It's a nice portable induction hob, so it's perfect for doing YouTubey stuff because I can face you guys, because as you can see my hob is over there. You can't really put a camera in that wall, or I didn't. Anyway. Again, brand new this one, so I'm still not really used to it. So I'm just watching it do its thing. Hopefully that's enough. I should probably, I think, pop it up a little bit. I'm just going to press some buttons and see what happens. 1200. Yeah, 1200 sounds right. Let's see what happens to my cream and milk. So while that's going on, I'm going to get 500 grams of chocolate ready. I'm literally just weighing it out and then bunging it in the microwave. Marco, of course, suggests that you do this over a bain-marie, but I can never be bothered. This is not a very cost-effective way to do it, if you've seen these before. Quite large, bigger than the kids' buttons you would have, but they're like the the little nuggets that you get for cooking chocolate. What's the posh word for those guys? Someone remind me. What's it called? The little gems of chocolate that you get for cooking. They've got a special name, haven't they? I completely missed the bolt. That was a good one. It's really bugging me now what they're called. Well, that's good. That has yielded 300 grams, 304 grams of chocolate. I might top it up a bit actually. If you are new to this channel, you will know I've always got some random rummaging going on. Rummaging in the cupboards, rummaging in the oven, rummaging in the fridge. So it's like a true unpleasant ASMR experience. Just watching the cream, it's sort of starting to do a little dance. Diamond Pacific says, I think you mean callets. That is the word I was thinking of, thank you. Couldn't bring it to mind. Thank you for that. Right, it's going to go in the microwave, just start melting. Good evening, by the way, Diamond Pacific, thank you for that. First blast, about 2.5 minutes. just to get things going. We're going to need a couple of eggs. Let's go rescue a couple of eggs. Whee. So really we're just going to whisk this all up, heat it gently and bring it together. So very, very light custard. Mark also says this is going to be passed through a hair sieve. I've never heard of hair sieve before. Fine sieve, sure, but a hair sieve? No, that's not me. This is coming up to a boil, so I'm going to keep this to warm now. That should have calmed it down. Probably doesn't come out well on the camera. That crappy little Samsung Galaxy S8 that is looking down at the pan. But got that cooked cream smell coming, so that's nice. Actually, it's 3 eggs. I don't know why I got 2 out. It's because I'm talking at the same time as cooking and reading. Just going to crack the eggs into this bowl. How are we all doing out there in YouTube land and Twitch land? What have we been eating today or about to eat, or depending on what part of the day you're in? Is it takeaway night? No shame here in that at all? Is it can't be bothered, not going to do it? Are you just going to have a bowl of cereal and think, I can't be bothered? Or are you going all out? Is it steak night? What are you doing? Right, let's just whisk these up a little bit. Only gently, we're not making meringue here, let's just clean that up. I'm going to turn this off now. So that's perfectly hot and will be enough to cook the eggs. Our little chocolatey boys barely starting. In fact, I think I will do it that way around so you can really see what's going on. Yeah, look, not even starting to break down yet. I can see a little bit of goo at the bottom. Smells terrific. Keep the temperature in the microwave really, the power I should say, really low, and it won't nuclear. If you push it too hard, I'm sure you've done it before, chocolate seizes in the microwave, separates, and goes disastrous. It's possible to retrieve it, but just don't do it in the first place. Diamond Pacific says a double lot of mince. So it's spag bowl yesterday, cottage pie today. Now you can tell the weather's getting colder, can't you, Diamond Pacific? I'm assuming you're in the UK. Spag bowl yesterday, cottage pie today. That is winning. I was just over at another channel before going live, and they said they are going to do a Yorkshire pudding, a large one I'm guessing, from the way they were talking, and fill it with cottage pie filling and top it with mash. Now that's a winter warmer, isn't it? Double carbs. So I'm literally waiting for the chocolate to melt now, so let's go and check on him. They're starting to break down. Lost one there. It's one of those things that all of a sudden, bang. Well, I fell on the floor. It's only me, I'm going to eat it. I cleaned the floor today, what can I say? Diamond is not sure the Yorkie wouldn't rise well. I'm going to assume the Yorkshire's already cooked, or they will buy one of those frozen ones. That's only a guess. I'll be wrong. They are quite a handy cook. That's Mrs. Handy's Kitchen over on Twitch. Excellent channel. One to which I will probably raid into when I'm finished here today. And I am now just waiting on my chocolate. I should have got it started, really. The weekend beckons. For some of you, it'll be half term, or you'll be halfway through half term. Hope you're having a good time. I'm going to take a few days off next week. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, actually. I do have some ideas for some Christmas videos, which I'm hoping to do next week, if I have the time. But I don't know. As usual, I've bitten off a lot, and I don't know if I can chew it all. We shall find out. I'm not sure I like thinking about Christmas right now, but I might order my turkey over the weekend. Again, if you've been around the channel a little while, you might know I go to Kelly Bronze in Danbury, in Essex. Without doubt, the best turkeys in the world. I'm going to fight anyone who says otherwise. He gives his turkeys are bought by the royal household, or they were. Don't know if the king does, but the queen certainly did. Used by Jamie Oliver, Delia Smith. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Just leagues ahead of other turkeys you get. Right, let's have a look at my Callets. Not sure Cadbury's market these as Callets, but so it's soft underneath, still a bit firm on top. So we'll just stir them through just to encourage them. And this is the point at which they'll just suddenly all collapse. So let's get those going. Let's get a pinch of salt. A pinch of salt in this is going to work wonders with the chocolate. So what else have we been watching? Anything good on YouTube we should be watching lately? I talked about the fallow videos earlier. I was also interested to watch Alexander the Guest's video on Gordon Ramsay's new recipe. Is it called High? It's at 22 Bishopsgate in London. It's got a really stupid name. Looked kind of underwhelming, to be honest. Looked good, but unremarkable to me. Bit by the numbers. But then I suppose, can he sell a restaurant by his name himself? Gordon, that is, probably. Well, we're really close now. Let's switch it up. Still got a few lumps in there, but it's starting to melt. I say starting to melt, it's nearly there. Nearly there. Oops, spilled a bit over there. A little more blast, that'll be done. Now, this is not part of the recipe, but my cat has just appeared and he wants feeding, so I'm going to feed my cat. While we wait, I hope I'm not going to mix up the forks and spoons. And if I don't do it now, he'll jump up on this counter and create havoc. So I need to get him fed. That. Put that down for him. with any luck. Our chocolate is lovely and smooth now. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Diamond, why am I making chocolate tart tonight? It's a great question. I'm going to visit some friends tomorrow, and I said I would bring dessert, and I thought, oh, let's do the chocolate tart from Marco, because it's really good. And it's one where it's much better if you have it the next day. It's perfectly edible out of the oven, but actually it's a much better dish left to set overnight. So that's my hot milk and cream going onto my eggs, a bit like a custard, keeping it moving. Get rid of you. And that should cook the eggs, again like a creme anglaise. And then I'm going to fold in the chocolate. So it's hand hot underneath, so I think we should be all right temperature wise. So, you know what, rather than put that down on the counter and make a mess, I'm going to find something to put that on. Let's put it on there. And we can keep this moving while I add most of the chocolate. I can scrape the rest out in a minute. You guys probably want to see it better, don't you? Well, the camera's not in an ideal spot. That's better. Sort of. Doop, doop, doop. My Nightbot thing is really chatty today. He wants to ask loads of questions. So for those of you just coming in, this is cream, milk, 3 eggs and melted chocolate. In this case, a mixture of dark and milk, or I'm cheating and using Cadbury's dark milk. The finish, little dust of icing sugar. Yeah, I remember doing this recipe and showing it to a pastry chef and saying, there's no sugar in it. And I hadn't really twigged that until he said that. I was like, oh yeah, there's no sugar in it. Clearly, what you do at the end is dust it with icing sugar once it's completely cool and set, and grate over more chocolate to give it a really lovely finish. So I can see tiny little curds of egg in there. So we will strain that off. As Marco says, using a hair sieve, which is a phrase I've never heard before. Blob of something there, let's just get rid of that. There's something else I'd really like to do with this recipe. And that is, just find my sieve. So to cook it, the oven is on 180 degrees, you know, the standard, everything cooks at this temperature. But Marco says simply to turn it off. Put the tart in and turn it off, which I know is going to work because I've made it before, but I'd really like to Hestonise that recipe and figure out what the magic is, because what's going to happen, oh, it's teeping over the sides, this guy was too busy talking, so we'll just tip a bit of excess over there. Too busy talking as usual, too busy talking, sort of job I really concentrate on. But we're going to cover the whole thing in grated chocolate and icing sugar, so you know, a slightly messy finish around the crust is not going to matter. Just going to get off some of that excess. So if you're going to do this, concentrate. Right, so as I just said, this is now going to go in the oven, and I turn the oven off immediately. And then leave it in there for 17 minutes. Really precise, that timing. But let's give it a go. And I'm going to set a timer for 17 minutes. So let's do that. Clock. Timer. 17 minutes. Well, obviously it's like 16:30 now. Got some spare mixture, so I'll have to knock up another tart with that in a moment. Diamond Pacific says, turning the oven off is a better way of assuring a low temp cook, since many ovens are dodgy when you put them on low temp. You're totally right. At the very bottom end, most ovens are really imprecise. Once you get over 120 C, you know, they're really good, and mine's really good. But at that lower end, yeah, all sorts happens. It's never quite perfect, is it? It's a bit, it's not quite right. But it's kind of imprecise though, the technique, you know what I mean? You've got an oven on at 180, then turn it off at bomb to go for 17 minutes. Put that there for a minute. So yeah. Just going to dry down this side. We're going to have a look at a new toy. So again, if you have been around this channel for any length of time, I love you, Kanishk, Bandy 3984, a lot of numbers in this evening. Good to see you. How are you doing this evening? If you've been around this channel for any length of time, this backdrop stays largely the same, including this guy over here, my Barista Express. Excellent, excellent coffee machine. Well, I think it's time to replace / upgrade it. So I'm going to unbox a new toy in a minute. How am I doing? I'm doing all right, thanks. How best to say your name? Kanishk? Not sure where the cut is in your name, but yes, not bad. I hope you're doing well too. So we've just popped a chocolate tart in the oven from Marco Pierre White. We're now waiting for it to bake. It's not going to take very long, but I'm going to open a new toy and see how it's looking. Just looking where the address is, so as not to dox myself too badly. No, I think we're okay. Again, huge fans. Diamond Pacific. Your chat settings don't allow nicknames, so all on default account names. I'd heard about that in the week, that people were getting nicknames and account names. It's all a bit odd, isn't it? Thanks for that. I will hunt down that setting. I don't really want to do it midstream because I might sort of cut the whole thing off. Thank you for the pointer. As I say, I had heard of that. I wasn't, it sounded like it was a glitch, to be honest. So I have bought, this is going to need to go on the floor, isn't it? Now, portafilter, should give it away, a tamp. I have bought, pop that little guy on, press a button, turn it on, turn it off. A Bambino Plus. Oh, that's the dual basket. Water filter holder, the useless razor. This is going to go on the floor, I think. That was quite difficult. If you've asked a question, sorry, I'll be with you in a sec. Product is just hugely wedged into the box. This is a two-man job. Goes up that way. Oh, I hope that was worth it. Get him out of the way. Right, finally. So let's use a slightly better view there. This is the Sage, or Breville if you're in the other part of the world, Bambino Plus espresso machine. It is, for a lot of purposes, the same as the Brewster Express that sits over there. And you might think, Christ, that guy can just waste money when he's just buying a second coffee machine. Well, for one thing, this is a refurbished deal. So you can just so it's a hugely reduced price. The condition was described as excellent. I mean, it looks unused. Diamond Pacific, have you used a Sage ice cream machine on Streamable? Yes, I am a big fan of Sage products. Their toaster is right here. I often break out their food processor, the Kitchen Whiz Pro. They've got a grill. I've got a whole video on Sage products, weirdly. And the ice cream machine, excellent piece of kit. Really, really love it. Yeah, so I wanted to replace like for like because I know the espresso machine is good. There are better espresso machines on the market. This does what I want. So you think, why has this idiot just replaced it like for like? Well, there is a reason, and we'll come to that. And if you're a coffee expert, you might figure out why I've replaced this. So let's pop him over there, because it's a two-part show. This is in a much bigger box than it needs. The Dose Control Pro, which is one of their grinders. They have a couple of different grinders. Let's stick that up there. Out of the way. Can't see where it goes. So that in a minute. Again, a reconditioned model, and this was the deal that you would buy a reconditioned grinder and coffee machine together. It did say on the description, it was an eBay listing, you wouldn't get the original box. So really cool to see the original box. Oh. Got 7.5 minutes left on my timer. Just checking the condition of that. Why am I smelling it? It only smells of plastic. In other words, it doesn't smell used. That is bonkers. So I think, might be wrong, the price for this grinder on its own is just shy of £200, I think. And the price of this guy, the Bambino, is 400, and I got the two for under 300. Reconditioned, as I said, so not brand new. Diamond says, you're not a coffee drinker, finding it all rather eccentric. Hopefully some coffee enthusiasts watching tonight. Yes, hopefully do. I knew I was going to have some time when the tart was in the oven, and I thought I was having these delivered today, might as well save them for stream. So I'm really chuffed with the condition of these. I don't know if it's coming across on camera. They look basically unused, so maybe they were returns, unwanted gifts, I don't know. But why have I done this? When I've got a perfectly good working Barista Express over there, had it 5 years, great little machine. Well, the truth is that it does work amazingly for espresso. What the grinder part of that Barista Express can't do is go more coarse than espresso. As well as espresso, I like having cafetiere or French press, pour over, other types of coffees, mocha pots, where you need a thicker grind. You get a much better flavour with a more coarse grind. And this will go 60 settings apparently, which a lot of coffee experts will say that's not enough, but it'll do for me for now. Go all the way from a coarse setting down to your espresso setting, and then a grind time. There are much more sophisticated models on the market. In fact, Sage themselves do a much more sophisticated grinder than this, but it was more than what I needed, so I'll figure out how that clamps in off stream. Oh, there's a little twisty thing, I remember. Yeah, so in future videos, these two little dudes are going to sit side by side over there, and if you were watching tonight, you can say you were there when the changeover happened, and you will know older videos from newer videos by the fact that I'll have those guys and not this guy sitting over there. So that's a little project for Saturday, is to fiddle about with all my new coffee machines and see what's going on. Diamond Pacific, you turn that off. Had an American friend stay over. He tried to make tea one morning. He put my kettle over the gas burner and melted the damn thing. I've heard of this before. It's baffling, isn't it, to us in the UK to go to a house that doesn't have a kettle on the side. My kettle is just off camera over there. It's a Ninja one, since you asked. Got a good deal on it. I'd like to see him melt a coffee grinder. Well, he'll give it a try, I'm sure. It's absolutely unthinkable, you know, to find a house in the UK that doesn't have a kettle. Even if you don't really drink tea or coffee, it's just such a useful gadget to heat up water quickly, isn't it? Right. 3 and so minutes left on my timer. So let's get these little bits of cardboard out of the way. Well, like I said, I'm very impressed with the condition of those goods. I haven't obviously tried them yet, and we've had a bit more time. Maybe I'd run water through them and see how they're behaving, but you guys have come for the tart, so we'll see what happens. Pop him down there. They're in excellent condition. Yes. I bought a few spares of things just in case they didn't come with it. I think that's a dual wall basket. I bought a spare single wall basket because I heard it doesn't come with one. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. I'd also heard they cheaped out on the portafilter. That's the handly bit that you stick on. But this is exactly the same, I think, as the model I've got over there. It feels the same weight. Yeah, apart from the fact that I need to clean mine. But maybe, being they're an authorised sort of reseller and distributor, they just had a spare proper portafilter knocking about. Either way, I'm happy with that. See how that goes. There's somewhere to put that. Weirdly disappointing. Nowhere to put the tamp. That is the right size. Right, 1 minute 47 left on the timer. Oh, I wonder if we should pull a shot in a minute, just to try it out. Certainly run some hot water through it, check how it behaves. Bit 20 past 8 where I am. A bit late to be having a shot of espresso, or a double espresso. Hey ho, maybe we will. If it's not apparent, this stream, it's not sponsored, though I love Sage gear. You've seen me using the Daewoo induction hob, and this is the guys I bought this from, I Do Direct, which has a 12 months warranty, which I think is a great deal for a refurbished item. Just found them on eBay. No affiliation with them at all. Just checking that. Single wall, lovely. I find it so strange, people who drink coffee after a big dinner. I know what you mean, but sometimes I really crave an espresso at the end of a meal. But only at a restaurant. I never do it at home. Or alternatively, if I know I've got to drive home for like an hour, I'll definitely have one then. So yeah, I get what you mean though. Oh, do you want some excitement? Countdown. Hydrolive, good to see you. How are you doing? That's gone off. That was ugly noise. So if you recall, we've had that in the oven that was on 180 degrees and turned it off, our chocolate tart, and then we've just left it in there as the oven cools off. Hydrolive, have you been cooking anything interesting lately? You've always got some good experiments on the go. So what I would say is, this is still incredibly liquidy. Let's get the camera on it properly and give it a little shake. I don't know if it will come out on camera, but it's liquid. I'm not sure I trust it. I want to put it back in again. Inside, it's got a skin, and it's basically hitting 55 degrees C. And it's clinging to the probe. Very tasty. Any pastry experts in there? My guts are telling me it's not enough. I'm going to put it back in the oven for another 5 minutes. I have made this before and it wasn't like that. It came out basically like a cream cheese consistency, very set. There we go. So to your point, Hydrolyth, you drank a litre of tea before going to bed. Weirdly, I drink a lot of coffee. If I drink tea in the afternoon or evening, I really struggle to sleep. You came back from a cooking Indonesian food for half a week. When you say came back, were you in Indonesia, or was that a course you were on, or just with friends? I'm interested now. 2 kilograms of bamboo sauce, your words, not mine. 300 grams of lemongrass sambal. Yeah, sambal is like that dip, isn't it? It's like a very thick sauce. Yeah, I used to have a colleague made a really mean coconut sambal. It was delicious. So yeah, I'm going to give that another 5 minutes. Let's I'll tell you what I'm also going to do. Let's turn that off for a sec. I'm going to, so as well as making this recipe before, I also blogged about it. And one of the main reasons I blog about stuff is to remember how to do it again. If someone else reads it, that's just a bonus. I've decided to go with the Essentially Marco version. This is the one from Cuisine. So that says leave it in the oven for 45 minutes. That's completely different. 45 minutes compared to 17. So that doesn't match up at all. That means we've definitely got some time to run a shot of coffee and see how it goes, right? We'll do that. So I'm going to add some time to that. Don't know why I didn't look at my own existing recipe that I'd written up. So Hydrolyth, yeah, it's a dip, very spicy, but so much sweetness in it as well, yeah. I mean, sambals are just, there's a whole world of them, isn't there? Of all different flavours and types. Right, let's plug them in down here. Yeah, all different types in the sambal world. Let's pop him on to give you something to look at. So, again, if you don't know about the world of espresso, there's a whole thing that happens where they call it dialing in, where you've got to work with beans and understand them for a bit until you can work out exactly how they're supposed to be used. But I already know how I like the beans from that machine. So shall I set up the grinder? The thing is, I don't really want to have to wash this all out and figure it out. Or do I? I've got to do it sometime, I guess. Is there anything to do? Not really. But the grind settings will be totally different. The grind settings are totally different from machine to machine. Sorry, I'm just expecting the machine. Again, if you missed that part, this is supposed to be refurbished, but some of this stuff is absolutely brand new. There's still tape on this. Let's do that over there. That one there. Again, going back to the Marco recipe and the 17 minutes versus the 45, if you've watched a lot of my videos around Marco Pierre White things, you'll know that I've said he doesn't seem to care much if you get it right or not, to be honest. He doesn't seem to care. He's far more interested in making sure that he's just fulfilled his obligation. So let's give this a quick rinse. just baffled by 17 minutes. It's so precise, isn't it? To be wrong. So precise. Anyway. Speaking of Marco Pierre White, down there, you might see a link to Ko-fi. That's kofi.com/bigspud. I was dared by one of the people in chat a few chats ago to say, why don't you go and visit Marco Pierre White's hotel and stay the night and try and blag an interview? And I said, I thought it was a great idea, but it's quite expensive. And I think it will cost me the best part of 200 quid. Well, if you guys want to contribute to me doing that, if I can get to 200 quid, then I'll do it. Let's cut this open. Already done it. This is a water filter. So just prevents particulates coming up through the water tank. In this part of the world, I've got very, very hard water. So it pays dividends. Oh, one of those as well. It pays dividends. What are you trying to tell me on here? Oh, it's like, oh, this is really cute. This is not going to come across on camera at all, but on the back of the water tank is essentially an instruction list. This is quite clever. Every few weeks or so, you need to run a cleaning cycle on espresso machines to remove all the gunk that builds up and the lime scale. And I keep the manual in a box up on that shelf because I can never remember the button combination. You hold down two buttons at the same time to make it work. And the fact that they've got them on the back of the water canister is really cute, really smart. Okay, let's just get a little jug out, make life easier. I'm just going to run hot water through it. Oh, that's done it. And he's ready to go. So this is one of the benefits. It says it boots up, ready to heat in 3 seconds. Stephen H, 8592, have you thought about what you'd ask me when you've got the chance? It's crossed my mind, if I'm honest. If I had the chance, I've got a feeling whatever I ask, it'll be challenging because he's an odd interview. If you watch interviews with him, he takes over and asks whatever he wants. He answers whatever he wants. He has a bunch of stock answers, so I think it would matter what mood you caught him in. That's what I think. Have you got any ideas what I should ask him? I'm just going to let the cat out 1 second. Yeah, I think it'd be a challenging ask, a challenging subject, because I think it matters what mood he's in. Anyway, let's run some water through this. Well, it can definitely run water, but also, of course, I'm making sure I'm not getting any nasties. That's interesting. The 54 mil. Oh, there we go. Just took a little knack. Yeah, I asked the chat then, if I were to get an interview with Marco, what should I ask him? There's no guarantee of this, by the way. I know people that have tried to get an interview with him and struggled or failed completely. They've just said, no, you're just not doing that, mate. So, you know, I'm not holding out any hope. What should I ask him? What would I ask him? What do you think? Should I ask him about the past, present, or the future? I think it's hard to know. It's hard to know what Marco you're going to get. So that's too big for that one, I think. Fits 50 to 54. It's 58. Well, I haven't got a 58mm. You know, are you getting the Marco who's having a good time, loving life? Are you getting the Marco who's just not interested in what you've got to say? It's hard to know, isn't it? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do it properly. I don't usually do it this way. Let's measure out the right amount of beans. I don't usually bother because I know exactly what I like. But coffee poshos will tell you you need 18 grams of beans. Beans weighed out. Pop him in. And I'm just going to grind through. Got a little bit of spillage, wastage, which I'm not surprised at. For the espresso guys. Hydrolyth says, I'm not sure I'd ask a British chef. I already have trouble keeping up with Belgian chefs. Can I claim ignorance here, Hydrolyth? I can't think of a Belgian chef, and please excuse my ignorance here. All respect to the world, I'm just not familiar with, I can't think of any Belgian chefs. Okay, let's assume it works that way around. Oh, it's tight. I've probably overfilled it. I have a feeling then this is going to struggle to pour. That's going to be my guess. Again, first time using this, so I'm going to get a few things wrong. We might not get any liquid out of this. It felt very tight. Oh, there we go. I thought it would struggle though. You can see that thin, reedy liquid. You need, they call it mouse tails. There we go. Espresso fans. Looks the business. I know a few names like Peter Grussens and Michael Vrimod, but I'm not an expert either. Apologies for my pronunciation. I do not speak any Flemish. I hope you visited my good pal History and Taberna, his channel. A fellow Belgian. That's very nice. That's not bad. There's a whole process with coffee, as I said, dialing in, finding the right level for your beans, finding the right grind size, and for off the cuff, that's pretty good. It's fruity, a little bit woody. It's nice. So for the morning, when I have my proper espresso, I'm going to knock the grind size up a bit for the morning. Right, let's pause my timer there. So that's now 15. I think that is 45 minutes, I think. No, it's 5, 15, 15, 15, half an hour. That's been half an hour now. That's been in the oven. You visited it. Good, I'm glad. What does Stephen say there? It's hard. He does trot out the same answers all the time. I'd like to know what he thinks about his legacy. So that is a thing, isn't it? He comes up with the same answers. If you watch 3 interviews with Marco on the Bounce, he'll say the same things about Mother Nature being the true artist. He'll go on about how and why he gave up his stars, and he'll talk about the box tree in Ilkley. Legacy is interesting. Let me go and check the tart, and then we'll talk about that, I think. So again, there's a little shimmy on it, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's got a much thicker skin than it had before, and it has actually receded, but I'm still not comfortable with it. So I don't know how to turn this machine off to say, I'm done with you, little man. By the way, just to finish up this bit here, in case you don't know, this is a single shot, double shot, activate the steam wand. The Bambino Plus that the Barista Express doesn't do is I can set the thickness of the milk that I want, the texture of the milk, and it will do it for me. So that's very good. But I won't mess any more with that today. I just don't know how to say I'm done, turn you off. So I'll look at the menu, I'll look at the book while we say that. So yeah, his legacy. I keep thinking about doing a video about this, not about his legacy specifically, but about saying, look, it's hard to be into food and not know who he is, right? He's a massive, massive figure across cooking entirely. But he didn't really mean much to me until I started looking at his BBC Maestro course. It's like effectively, as soon as Hell's Kitchen finished, he disappeared. You know, he didn't really have much going on. So he has reappeared of late, and he suddenly means more to me, and I know much more about him in the last year or two of doing his videos than I did before. So yeah, it's really interesting. What does he mean now? I think, of course, he has a legacy that is about just take this off. Lovely puck. He has a legacy which is more, I think, in the people that he taught and instructed. And in the course of doing all these Marco videos, I have bumped into a lot of people that worked for and with him and are quite happy to tell me about what he was like, and that he inspired them to get into food, which I think is really interesting. And they wanted to work with him, they did, and that was their dream, and they've gone off to do their own thing. But he represents now, of course, a quite archaic era of cooking, I would say, of restaurant cooking, that I would like to think we've largely left behind. Cooking is now dominated by the quieter characters, thankfully. Yeah. I think it's now a different world altogether. Let's move him out of the way, turn it off. Hydrolyte says, I've never had a particularly great coffee experience, but perhaps it's because I never had a great coffee to begin with. I think once you go to the more expensive brands that you notice a difference. Yeah, I've always liked coffee. I liked it from far too young an age, much younger age than you should do, really. And the deeper you get into the hobby, and it's a huge, and in my original review of the Barista Express, over there, I say, don't buy one if you just want to make coffee. It's not what it is. You are effectively buying a hobby when you get into coffee. There's so many methods, techniques, ideas, steps and things you've got to go through. From selecting beans, you start getting fanatical about the roasting date of things, to the grind sizes you've just heard me talk about, to making sure everything works and comes out exactly the way you like it. It's it is a hobby. It's a brand new hobby that you get into doing that. Completely finished that, it's gone. It was very nice. And most people, I think, will have heard of James Hoffmann on YouTube, probably the leading voice in coffee in the world now, I think, who doesn't own Starbucks or Costa. And his videos are just a complete, what's the word, rabbit hole you can go into of learning more about coffee, about where it comes from, how to get the best out of it, the various ways you can drink it. This cupboard here, this short cupboard, is full of coffee crap, basically. Mocha pots, AeroPresses. If you want to get into coffee, by the way, I started drinking coffee when I was 4. I probably started later than when I was about the same hydrolyte, something like that. It was 4 or 5, I know that much. Though it was instant coffee back then, with jars of freeze-dried stuff. If you are interested in coffee and want to dip your toe into it, I'd recommend an AeroPress, which are the tall plungery devices, which are an excellent way to get really good coffee with very little effort. You don't need to factor in a lot of changes or adjustments. It just kind of works out of the box. Right, we've had another few minutes. I'll have another look at the tart. I'm aware, obviously, me going back and forth to the tart is sort of changing the temperature, the ambient temperature. So it's kind of adding time to it. But I think with the type of tart we've got, I think we're okay. So, let me help you guys out there. If I just give that a wiggle. It's got a shimmer on it. Notice how we've lost a lot of liquid. It was literally overflowing when I poured it in, and it's actually lost a lot, but it's definitely still liquid and not solid. It definitely needs to stay in the oven. Right, let's turn him off. So, I think I'm going to leave that in the oven quite a bit longer. I'm basically going to leave it in there until cool and then transfer it to the fridge to finish setting. I don't want to keep you guys hanging around any longer than we need to, so I think it's probably a good idea if we start talking about calling it a night there. We've made a great chocolate tart, and by all means you can have a look back at it, see what's going on, and I think we shall call it a night there. Thank you very much for hanging out tonight. It's been great chatting with you. Always interesting people in my chat. Always, always, always. So nice to see you. If you are over on Twitch, I'd love it if you could hang around and I will raid into probably a good chum of mine, Mrs. Hangry. Those on YouTube, good to see you. Sorry, I'm just clicking a load of buttons to find the right one. Is it that one? Is it that one? I think it's that one. It's that one. There we go. Let's go searching. That's it. Excellent. Right. So again, thanks very much for watching. I hope you all had a good evening. It's great to see you. I shall post a picture of the finished tart probably tomorrow when it's had overnight to cool and I've decorated it, and you can have a good look at it there. In the meantime, I hope you have a great evening, a great weekend, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks very much.